Hello, friends, and welcome to my channel. I am Ananda Rose, and I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going um, according to plan in your world. Um, for me, my plans are on a daily basis. I do them every day. And whilst I do have plans, like I have meetings with people ahead in the week, I always get to the day and decide that I'm just going to go with the flow, right? And so today, this recording is a bit of that going with the flow because I was trying to figure out, okay, what's our message for today? And I could not come up with one thing in particular. There was so much that I wanted to say. Now, if you watched the videos last week, you would know by now that I had a bit of a uproarious week, if there's such a word, right? However, I had a weekend that was kind of I was busy. I don't do lots on the weekend. I mainly do well, I try to do very little on the weekend, but um I had a couple of appointments on Saturday, and then yesterday being Sunday, I had an appointment in the morning, and it was really great because I'm just working on a project with somebody, and that's very soon to be announced here on the channel. And then in the afternoon, I was invited to a cacao ceremony. Now, this was really interesting because the cacao ceremony I went to, the philosophy behind this was not that you had to do things a specific way. They were actually teaching how to have cacao in your life, like drink cacao every day, make it an everyday drink, and make it an intention as we go along. And the person who was, or one of the people that was administering this talk, basically said, he has cacao and in the morning, and he connects with his cacao, and he asks it for something, like if he wants to feel healthy on that day, then he say, well, I'm inviting you to bring health into my life. Now, I know he doesn't say that. He doesn't use exactly my words, but that's my interpretation of what he does. And I asked him afterwards, hey, we were having a bit of a Q&A, and I said, hey, Mark, do you like the way you speak of cacao, and that you can ask cacao for good health in that day, or how you want your day to go, like, or you want to feel everything align? Does it feel like cacao is almost like source, like your higher self that you're speaking to? And he said, well, yeah, for him, that's what that means. Now, what's happening here on this side of the world is an amazing thing because, I have always had cacao from Peru, right? And there's a company that brings it in, and I order it from them, and I have my cacao. However, what we have in New Zealand is something called ambassador for cacao, and these people are actually promoting cacao that is grown here in the Pacific. It or here, like in the islands around us. So I mean, look, this is new to me. I've only heard of cacao being grown in this part of the world in the last 2 or 3 months. And I finally met the lady who has been driving it here, or one of them that's been driving it here about 3 weeks ago. And then yesterday we met again because she was one of the people speaking at this event. And we're going to talk to her on the channel. And I'm not going to say yet more about that until it actually happens. But I've invited her to come and talk about cacao, what it means, what it can mean for all of us, and how it can help us, and how it can become part of our everyday life. So I was bowled over. And I tell you what, my friend Mark is a chef, and he is using cacao in his food, like to introduce new dishes with using cacao. And so I'm just like over the moon at some of the things he was talking about and they were experimenting with. It was just amazing. All right, so that's one thing I wanted to share about. I didn't think I was going to share about cacao, by the way. It just came out. The other thing is I haven't picked any cards yet out of the Oracle card decks because I wanted to pick it with you so we can see what message it is for us together. I noticed that my incense here I'm using a sage incense, as just burnt out. And I kind of want to do the session with the incense. Now, one of the incense that I use a lot is Orishika, the Orishika brand, because it's meant to be responsibly created and burns responsibly and does not create pollution on the planet. And I have very specifically, I have the coconut and the myrrh that I simply love. And I'm struggling to get that now because it seems like when there's shortages of things, of products in supermarkets or at the, or at the health shop or wherever I buy my incense from, it seems to be that I love that is a shortage of. So they've got all the other blends or types of Orishika incense besides the ones I have. The myrrh and the coconut seem to be very popular. And that myrrh just changes everything. I feel like I'm in a Tibetan temple when I have the myrrh, burning. Anyway, at the moment, I am using a sage, and it's a very specific sage incense. But anyway, here we go. Just to say by the by, another thing that's happening in my world. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, I want to talk about maybe three more things. One of it is this. I've noticed a trend recently when I have invited, in the last 2 months, I've invited people to come and talk on the channel, to be interviewed on the channel, or to share their energy or their knowledge. And I've had 2 or 3 of them say, "Thank you so much for the invitation, Rose, but unfortunately, I don't align with with your channel in the sense that it doesn't have enough audience to reach out to. So whilst your audience might be the right people, but there's not enough of them, and it's too much energy to spend on a small audience." And so, initially when that happened the first time, I I paused and I thought, well, okay, what do I say to that? Because clearly they're saying you don't have enough people. You're not a big enough channel. You're still as small as you are. You don't have enough subscribers. And so therefore, whilst you might have the right people, they're not enough of the right people. And I kind of feel like I get that. I understand. Well, no, not I kind of, I definitely feel I understand that. We're all on YouTube trying to build we're trying to build an audience. We're trying to build our channels to become big channels. And there's a huge competition for it. And if that had happened to me 2 months prior to when it did happen, I might have said something very different from what I'm about to say. So when I got the response from the first person who said that to me, I thought, well, thank you for telling me your truth. I'd rather have the truth than to hear, oh, I'm too busy, Rose, or I don't have the time. I'd rather you told me what was really the reason for it, not what isn't the reason for it, just so that you want to spare what you are truly thinking and feeling. Because in the last few months, we have gone through this whole transformation that requires us to be our authentic selves. We have to be our authentic selves. And if that means saying to somebody like Rose, hey, I'm sorry, but your channel is not big enough. Your audience, whilst might be the right audience, are not big enough. They're not the big enough right audience to come on and expand or come on and share my energy with, because it's a lot of energy that I have to use to do that. And then it doesn't reach a lot of people. So, my response was, thank you so much for being honest with me. I so understand it. And, I get it. I too would like to have that. And I too would like to say to the universe, I'm digging my heels in and saying, well, actually, it's got to be people approaching me. I've got to be a really big channel so that I can be effective in a big way. It makes sense, right? I mean, why would you think differently? I mean, it makes absolute sense. Whereas I think the other side of the coin is, well, are we going to forget about people that are not there yet? Are we? And anyway, none of us will get forgotten. You know that none of us will get forgotten because you might find that person, you might watch that person, for example, on another channel and get that message that he's got. You may not get it here because, of course, he's choosing or she's choosing not to be here because we're a small channel. So, you know, it's just an interesting time that we're going through, an interesting transformation. And then when I got somebody else tell me the same thing, who was also a small, well, this person was a small he's a small channel, almost as small as my channel. However, and they came out and said, hey, you know what? Your channel's not big enough for me to be on it because I'm trying to reach more people. And I just feel that I'm wasting my time doing that because it's got to be with a huge audience. And I thought, well, okay, what can I say? I sometimes wonder if I didn't get the memo yet about what that's all about. Because whilst I understand it, I understand it on so many levels. Please do not misunderstand me that I'm being, and maybe I sound a bit sarcastic. Yeah, I think I probably do. And I'm sorry if I do, but I just feel like, wow, okay. That's part of me that's like the third dimensional me is like, oh my gosh, wow. Okay. And so in the last 2 months, since this happened, I had to go back and think about me and what I was doing, what I'm all about. And I know that when we started this channel, or when I say we, I mean me and the guides, when we started the channel, it was to reach out to anybody who is working for the collective, anybody who has anything of high vibration they wanted to share with the collective. And so that's what it is meant to do. And once we're in our small capacity, as we are, then that's what we are right now. That's what we are. I don't know what the future holds. And I feel like I've said this before on the channel. And I'm sorry if I have. And I'm repeating myself, but I don't know. This was something that was on my mind, and I needed to apparently say this again. I need to say to everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being loyal to this channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you that what we put out here, you like them. You like it, you watch it. I appreciate you. I really do. And I don't know how we go in the future, but I am told to continue doing this. I am told to continue doing the work I do. There are a couple of people lined up to be on the channel. This channel was created very specifically initially for people here in the South Pacific because there aren't many channels like this one, or like I look at people like Michael Sandler, for example. He's inspired Michael Sandler of Inspired Nation. He's been doing these interviews for so long, right? And he's got a huge following. I look at people like Alex Ferrari and I think, well, first Next Level Soul. Is that Next Level Soul? Yes. And I think, well, he's got a big channel. But these are people I look at and I think, well, yeah, my the first person that I watched is Lilo. She used to always interview Joe Dispenza. And I thought, I'm supposed to do what Lilo is doing. She's a German or a Dutch lady. And she is awesome. And she used to interview Joe Dispenza like maybe even 7 years ago, right? And I thought that, and Lilo was my my inspiration to actually do this because I thought it was great. And so we continue. And whilst I know that things have been slow here on the channel, friends, I apologize. We've just been going through the motions and the energy. I know that things are going to change. I know that it's going to get better. What that means, I don't know. I'm still myself navigating and finding that out. So, but I thank you. I thank you for being here, and I thank you for supporting the channel. And I thank you for supporting my work and everything. And I thank everybody that's been a guest on the show. Everybody. Some of them have come back time and time and again, and I just am grateful, eternally grateful to have these people that have come onto the channel and been guests on the channel. I've reached out to a few people, popular people. Some have not responded. Others I've had responses from their customer support people to say, well, they're too busy and they can't be on the channel, right? So I don't know. I don't know how whether we still carry on reaching out to people, or if that is the sign to say stop doing it, you know. But I know that intuitively, when we're supposed to reach out to people, that will happen. I will reach out, and the right people that are meant to be here will come onto the channel and they will talk. I mean, my guides, when I got these responses from these two or three people, my guides were really specific in asking me to revisit why we created this channel. We created it so that we operate always from heart perspective, from intuitive perspective. And for a while, even I forgot that because I was really discouraged that the channel was not growing as I would like it to grow. A lot of it is tied into that I was given it time. I was giving so much of energy work time, and I wasn't seeing I was not seeing the turnaround of that, especially that I'd given up my third dimensional work under guidance. I had done all of those things, and I thought, well, universe, you've got to show up for me now. But I am trusting the universe that whatever happens here will always be for the greatest good and will always be of the highest vibration. And in those times when we fail to do that, we will have the opportunity to rectify. We will have the opportunity to review. We will have the opportunity to re-administer how we do things. Yeah, to review, to repent, to reconcile, to do whatever, all the re's. Yeah. So on that note, I'm just going to go on and give you a little bit of information. The new thing that I'm launching, and this starts next week here on the channel, is memberships. Now, I have been granted the option for memberships on YouTube, and I have created one which I have not made live yet. I'm still thinking more about it. They've approved it, and I'm still thinking about it. I want to share my screen with the other memberships that I'm allowed to have. And here we go. This is it. So if you can see my screen, these are the two memberships I have that are going live on the channel, and they begin next week. All right. The first one is the Metatron Transformers. The Metatron Transformers membership or members will have a weekly meeting, and it's for anyone who wants to learn and grow on their spiritual journey about basic daily practices to implement and support yourself. There's general chat with this one, and it is about, we talk about daily spiritual practices, and then we conclude with a meditation and light language transmission. Now, what happens here? Members can receive email support from me during the month, and with this year, this is a weekly meeting, but yeah, over that time we can do, it's a monthly membership, right? It's a monthly membership, but we have a weekly meeting, right? So that's how that makes sense. The other membership that is going to be happening and going live from next week is this one. This one is the Intergalactic School of Light Language membership. Now, what happens in this one is this membership is for those seeking to connect with their soul's light language or languages, because some of us are multilingual in our light language. Members come together for a 2-hour monthly group session. Now, that means you're going to be meeting other members in this, even with the weekly one. Just bear in mind, you're going to be meeting others, right? Now, let's go back to here. What are we doing in the 2 hours? It's a group session. We learn about light language and activate our own and practice speaking with others in the group. There will be a quarterly draw for one member who will be chosen to receive a free personal light language session with me. Okay. And you have automatic entry into level 1, the Metatron Transformers membership. So when you join that one, you also can have that one. It comes with that one. That's an automatic membership there. So that means what's going to happen is if you join that one, the Intergalactic School of Light Language membership, you're going to have your weekly support, and then you're going to have that 2-hour session. So this one, I did not put a date on this yet. I feel like I would like people to sign up for it first, and then we can all decide together. I will communicate with all of you about the date, whether we do it on the 15th of every month, whether we do it on the third Friday morning of every month, third Friday morning being New Zealand time, right? And I like the third Friday morning where we could maybe do that at 7 a.m. because many of the audience that I have here on the channel are in the United States. And so, our 7 a.m. here in New Zealand is during the day there. So you get a chance to do it in your waking hours. Okay. And then Metatron Transformers, hey, that's going to be a weekly. We talk about one practice we're going to do and how that, and we can discuss how it's working out. The Metatron Transformers activation, I beg your pardon, membership, I feel like that one is likely to be on a Tuesday morning. It's on a Tuesday morning because it's Monday for many people outside of New Zealand, for more people outside of New Zealand than less. And it's going to be at about 7, 8 a.m. New Zealand time. I haven't decided that yet, but I will connect with the members who sign up for that. And you can sign up for this at Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. I keep saying cup of coffee. buymeacoffee.com/Rose McNair 3/membership. I will put that link in the description box if you want to join the memberships. All right. Going to stop sharing now. So yes, I had to share that with you. And that's one of the exciting things that's happening. The YouTube membership is a very basic, small membership for a daily light language transmission. That's what it is. And it's one specific to members. It's not like the ones that I do here all the time, like that I do on a weekly basis. It's just going to be something like about maybe 10 minutes where you get one every day, and it looks at something in particular. It's a light language. I will pull an oracle card or a tarot card, and we will take the message from that. And then members will get that every day. That's going to be a recording that will get sent automatically every day. Okay, so once I am, now that I've said it so basically, how I explain that, I'm going to make it live so you can have that link as well, whichever one you choose. Okay, friends, let's look at the cards. I feel like there's a card coming out of Beyond Lemuria, this Oracle card deck here by Izzy Ivy. I haven't used it in a few weeks. And I think I'm going to have to get more Oracle card decks. I mean, you can't have enough, right? I absolutely love them. Right. I keep seeing this card, and now she's at the bottom of the deck. So we're gonna do that one. And we're gonna bring the light language in for that. And actually, that's the only card we're gonna do it for. And see how this. Let's see how this fits with anything we've spoken about today. This card is the Journey to Wholeness card. It's the number 33 card. I think it's perfect. It's the master number, isn't it? It's one of the master numbers. Right, there she is, looking very, if you look at her, I'll put her in front of me so you can see her nice and clear. She is looking part human, part what looks like octopus, and her eyes are very deep, very blue. Very deep pools. She looks really sad. And she looks like they're brimming with tears, if you see her. But I'm looking at her, and maybe today we get a different message from her. She looks like she's underwater. There seems to be a starfish. There seems to be, all those, the body parts of an octopus there. Yeah, there we go. Right, the language wants to come out. I'll put it down. Journey to Wholeness. self-acceptance, wholeness, unconditional love, soul fragments, returning, accepting others as they are, staying energetically present, accepting all parts of self, healing internal dis-ease. I really love this because I feel like it sort of aligns with what I was saying earlier about people not wanting to come onto the channel because the channel is so small, and it just says to me self-acceptance, accepting self. Because if I could not accept that, if I was restless with that, then I wasn't accepting myself. That was a big jump for me in terms of self-acceptance, or accepting what is important, and say, well, yeah, that's true, and that's their truth, and I'd rather have their truth than some silly story to say, oh, I can't be on your show, Rose, because I'm too busy. I'd rather have the authentic self. But in putting this video out, I believe we're going to activate something. I believe the light language coming is going to activate. It's going to activate all of us. Firstly, to be accepting of everyone's authentic self and their truth, because that is what's happening right now. We all have our truth, and we all need to speak our truth. That's important, very important, right? Okay, whatever that truth is, and it doesn't have to be unkind, it doesn't have to be ugly, it just has to be it in a matter of fact, easy, sweet way. And that's the thing. We are on the journey. One of the things we're on the journey to is learning how to be authentic, but to be matter of fact and accepting of that is the truth. I love that. I love it. I love that. I asked for it. I want to be it. And I also want to share it. I don't always get it right, but I am on my journey to do that. Right. So this is the card, and let's read now. Traditional Japanese painters do not paint the eyes of a deity before the rest of the body. As they say, this is the element that brings it to life. Makes sense. But for this image, Izzy says she did just that. It was one of the most profound painting experiences she's experienced, she says. She created deep into the night, and no matter how hard she tried, she could not put her paintbrush down. At 3 a.m., she was coaxed away, and as she stepped back, she burst into tears. She was deeply upset at the being that had come alive on the canvas, because it could be sensed in a heart space. Hang on a second. I'll say it again. She says, I was deeply upset at the being that had come alive on the canvas. Could be sensed in my art space and felt as if it was within me. So she could be sensed, this being could be sensed in her art space, A-R-T, right? And she could be felt within her. The canvas held a half-formed being, part woman and somewhat octopus. She was troubled. The process she was in was quite disturbing to her. After doing a clearing, now this is what Izzy says. She says after she did a clearing, she was able to sleep. The next morning, a housemate inquired what had happened in the night, as his pictures were falling off the walls. So she says, this is Izzy writing now, as I worked on the painting over the next week, it felt like this being was undergoing healing. She was brought to wholeness and became quite beautiful with evolved energy systems and a sense of enlightenment and knowing about her. Izzy says she has come to realize that this being is a hybrid. There are mixed reports about what caused these beings to be in this way, but it seems there was a distinct sense of upset and dis-ease amongst them, and they had an intense longing to be whole again. Some say the Lemurian hybrids were experiments done by the Atlanteans as they pushed what was possible. Others say they were a result of vibratory similarities as the Lemurians became more physicalized causing them to mix with that of animals, depending on where their vibration was. That's interesting, right? That fact is interesting. Most accounts associate the hybrid form with dis-ease and a sense of being outcast. It is understood that hybrids started appearing toward the end of the Lemurian epoch as they were densifying, and the Atlantean mind-based intellect interfered with the ebb and flow of Lemurian ways, though this is not what caused their demise. Right. I've not heard that the Lemurians, I don't know whose demise she's talking about, possibly the Atlanteans, because I've heard that the Lemurians are in another dimension and they are still in existence. So they took themselves into another dimension. So this card is about loving yourself and others from a sense of wholeness, exactly as you are right now. It is only from this space that the healing can take place. We may find ourselves in relationships or scenarios where we can see great potential. We may have concepts of others that are not really who they are, due to subconscious projections or ideals. We could have the idea that we will feel better about ourselves when we achieve a goal or status. That success will somehow make everything better. Unfortunately, this takes us out of the present and makes our love somewhat conditional. To be a healer, transcend the perspective that the being in front of you needs to be fixed. Hold the vision that they are perfect as they are. From this place, they can heal themselves through the transformative power of acceptance. Acknowledge the full spectrum of a picture and bring any fractured parts back to the present moment. In this place, we are whole and therefore have the power to step into the brightest version of ourselves. Friends, what is it that you're going through right now in your life, that you're being told, that makes you stop and look at yourself and say, am I the best version of myself? Am I evolving to that? Are all my efforts in this life that I put into in vain? Am I small and insignificant despite all that I do? Even fulfilling my soul's purpose, even giving up that which helps me support myself on this planet, on this very material planet. And when I listen to the voice of guidance, and when I listen to my intuition and follow that through, and I still do not see the results, or I see results like, for example, I got people saying, your channel's too small for me to come onto it. And the reason is I spend a lot of energy when I'm doing these things, and it's taking a lot of my energy, and I feel the audience don't receive it. That it doesn't reach the audience, the amount of people I need that amount of energy to reach. What do? Do we fail? Do we say we failed? Do we say, wow, people don't want to come onto the channel? No, because the time and place for that is over. There's so many reasons other than the one people are giving us for what is happening. You know, perhaps I don't need to have someone come back to the channel. Perhaps I don't need to have that person. And I say that with love. I say that with, perhaps my guides are highlighting that to me. What is it that we need now in our life to fulfill that purpose, the soul's purpose? To be ourselves, to be accepting of who it is and we are and what it is we're doing, and to be accepting of circumstances and situations. Recently, I had situations happen in my life that I felt like I could walk away from everything. In fact, I said it. I'm probably just going to walk away from it all because it felt very third dimensional. The things that were happening in my world felt very third dimensional. And when I worked in the third dimensional spaces, and and these things happened, I left the place. I left the work. And it's really interesting because a lot of these things that have happened, happened in the third dimension where someone just didn't like me being me. Someone was not happy with who the me that I am, and really came back into that self-acceptance, the journey to wholeness. So, friends, today, let's bring in all of those light codes. Let's bring in those things for what we are purposed for here. And that no matter who or what happened, who or what comes along into your life that makes you think, oh, wow, being myself, am I on the right journey? Should I have said that? Should I have done that? Never forget that you're on the journey to wholeness. These things have to happen. Right. Let's do it. Let's do a light language transmission. Thank you, friends. Let's do a clearing. And I'm going to hold my Lemurian crystals with me, because perhaps today there's a light code in here that I will receive and be really, really blessed by it. Feet firmly planted on the ground, and you can hear Baxter in the background, and I apologize for that if it's bothering you. Those paws on the wooden floor. There we go. He's coming in and sitting on the couch, on the armchair, not the couch, the armchair. And so here we are. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Let's breathe. One more time. And another one. Orana kimam, torana makera mato forana te yeam. Yeah, oh, Kiramakura makate faranateram. Kiranatiero no tu franatero. Akirana tu no. Akiranate. Karamatsu mahamanga. We're bringing in the light codes to be our authentic selves. Firstly, we're bringing in the light codes for us to be self-accepting. We're bringing in the light codes for us to know that all that is happening to us is relative and relevant for our soul's journey to that mission that we are here to achieve and to accomplish. Take a moment to breathe. وكرنا ما وين تفور ما خينا ترى ما خوم هيرما كتونا تفرنا خاين ما تيتورنا خاي او على نجي كنا ما استفرنا خاي تلي ما تيوكرنا تيكرنا تفرنا خاي تمنا تفرنا خاي نتفا يو راخنا ما تي وليش كنا ما كتو انا كتي عربا سكوت فانا كيلا تتفرنا خاي كيرا ما تكرنا خاي تتفرنا خاي تلي باكي تفرنا كتي انا ما كنت تفرا. Thank you, beloved friends. It was a short light language message. It's just a lot of other things that we had to go through for the housekeeping and what is going to happen going forward in the channel or on the channel. I look forward to you joining me for the memberships. I believe that many of us are meant to have a closer knit community and family, and I have a lot to teach. I have a teaching background, not just an accounting background. And the guides have really impressed upon me that it's time to bring that forward. So that's the one project I've completed in setting up. I'm currently working on a project that's to come, and I'll talk about that probably in the next month or so. I'm saying the month, in the next month, probably less. I'm just kind of pushing it out so that I don't overpromise and underdeliver. And then there is another project going on as well, which will change this channel a little bit. It will change the channel for more interesting things. Other than just light language transmissions and interviews, the channel's just going to change. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your support. And so much love and light to you. So much love and light to everything that is happening. Also, friends, I want to say our free light language transmissions will continue. It doesn't mean you have to be a member to be watching the channel. There's going to still be the interviews. There's still going to be that. There's also going to be, perhaps we will do some transmissions for where everybody, you don't have to be a member, where anyone can register for it, the one-offs. Okay, we'll be doing that. Also, for anyone who watched and joined us for the Neurodivergent series, I am thinking of creating a membership for that so that we can provide support. So Kirsty Marie and I can provide support for you, or she can provide support, once a month, so that people can join it. And if you create if we create a membership for it, and it's it's something that everyone can join, and then you have it there. So even if you don't get to watch it when it's happening, you can do that. You can get the recording for it, right? So yeah, part of the membership process is getting a recording if you cannot be in the event, yeah, and watching it. So on to better things, on to new things, on to doing what we do well and continuously doing it well. Those things that we're learning on, that we will progress and get better at it. Thank you so much for watching. So much love to all of you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Kira maka whaine kata. Namaste.